Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nashville Tour Stop podcast, episode number 110, featuring somehow for the first time ever, Caroline DeLone. Clap, 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 clap. Is that your new artist tag?
No, I went.
Hello, welcome to my house.
Hello, house.
You've been here before.
I have.
It was when I had my cochlear implant surgery.
Yeah, when I asked you what you wanted.
You brought me a whole bunch of stuff.
And you said cheese.
Because back then I couldn't close my mouth all the way because of the surgery and all of the stuff that hurt. So I asked for cheese, and I ate, let me tell you, so much cheese.
Good. We got you every kind.
You really did?
Yeah. Yeah, Tara and I were like, what kind of cheese? Every single
I don't think there was a single
cheese.
kind of cheese you didn't bring.
Yeah.
But thank you for bringing me cheese.
You're
welcome to the
welcome.
Nashville Cheese Stop podcast. What have you been up to today? How's life for you on this day, the 2024 year of our Lord Lainey Wilson?
Oh, very true. Praise the Lainey Wilson Lord.
I know, post Grammys. Grammy
Me
winning
not knowing a
goddess
single
Lainey
song.
Wilson.
Yeah. No, I woke up the crack of dawn.
The butt crack of dawn.
Mm-hmm. Went to work.
You work at a place that is somewhere we don't need to say on air.
No, we're not going to disclose any of that information.
We've had that come up before where people will they'll list where they work and then they'll talk about stuff and then 20 minutes goes by and they're like, oh, actually, can we cut all of that? And I'm like,
oh, God.
Sure.
I get paid to be nice. Let's just put it that way.
But yeah, you have a new job somewhere. Are you enjoying your new digs?
I am. A lot of musicians, a lot of friendly faces.
You bring us stuff from this place all the time, and we do appreciate it.
I mean, you know how I do. You asked me not to bring anything, and I did.
And she still did. Well, welcome to the podcast. You've been listening for quite a while, and you've been playing Tour Stop for a long time, too.
Yeah.
Before we get into all of that, though, you know the deal. How did we meet? We start every episode the same way by asking our guest how you met me, and I don't remember.
Really? Well, sweet baby angel Becca Tremmel brought me to Belcourt Taps for my first tour stop. I know, rest in peace.
R.I.P.
And yeah, I went. It was when you were filming Coley and everybody. It was like one of the first commercials you were filming.
That would have been Halloween of 2019?
No. Then maybe not that far back because I wasn't even here then.
Okay.
It was like August, September of 2021.
Okay. So we met at Belcourt.
Yeah.
Well, that's a tale as old as time.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about Belcourt? What were your first... And obviously this is now a closed bar and has been closed for a long time, but a lot of us have really fond memories of it. What were your first impressions of this very special dive bar?
Well, the first time I went was in the summer of 2021.
Okay.
On a date, and it was awful. And I was like, I'm never going back. And then Becca brought me back, and I was like, oh, this is a little bit more fun.
This place doesn't suck.
No, it doesn't. And then I started being like, oh, these people are really cool. The music's really good.
Everyone's
I like the vibes.
so nice.
I got away from being at home all the time because I worked from home. I was with Warby Parker for a long time. And, it was nice to just kind of get away. And then I started bribing people to be my friend with chocolate and Taco Bell hot
Something
sauce.
that still persists to this day.
I'm not bribing. I'm like, let me love
It's
you.
an extension. Yeah, this is one of your 5 love languages, and gift giving is definitely your top one.
Oh, yeah. I love gift giving. I don't like getting gifts.
I'm the same way. I'm becoming more into gift giving, but I still don't like really getting gifts. You give the right kind of gifts, which are consumables. Which makes it sound like she's
Not
giving
all
me
the
drugs.
time.
She's not. She'll bring me chocolate or goldfish.
Nothing laced, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing laced.
Cupcakes, candies, cookies, crackers.
But I do think I individualize gifts if I'm actually giving somebody a birthday gift. And then when people give me stuff, since I put so much thought into it, I'm like, oh, thanks. Oh. It's like that kid that's like, an avocado. Thanks.
Like present your mug to this camera right here. This is one of the gifts that Caroline bought me. Ask me about my dad jokes.
You want to hear one?
Yeah.
Why does bread not like the summertime?
Why?
Gets a little too toasty.
I was going to say because it's a little too doughy.
What?
Have you never heard this? I would call this a doughy belly. Have you never heard that term before?
But what does that have to do with summer?
I wouldn't want to show off my doughiness.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm an inside kid.
Not showing off your beach bod.
Oh.
Showing off the
My dad bod. That's why you got me that, I would assume. It was also because I do love dad jokes.
Well, yeah. That's you hit the nail on the head, honestly.
Yeah, thank you. Wow. Off to a great start.
English is my second language.
It is?
No.
Wow. Sarcasm could be your second language with that kind of a wow.
Well,
I didn't even pick up on that.
Sarcasm was definitely my first. Yeah, let's put it that way.
So you moved here in what year?
In 2020.
2020, and you moved from San Francisco, right?
Just outside San Francisco, across the Golden Gate Bridge.
Okay.
The fires got really bad, and I just packed up my car, had a couple friends drive out with me.
2020 was on fire for 1,000 reasons, but the actual fires
literally was on fire
why?
in California. And yeah, I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to move to Nashville. I did Austin, didn't quite like it enough, and then here I am.
Now you had a whole bunch of background in music because your dad's a session player, right? Or a live player?
Yeah, he's kind of done a little bit of everything. He's produced. He's been a session player. He fills in when people can't come to the tour or something like that. He's a musician's musician. You know?
Love those people.
Yeah.
And then in Nashville, we have the songwriter.
Right.
The people who write songs for the songwriters, and then the songwriters who hear those songs are like, I should go do more work.
Yeah. The first day I moved here, I remember going to a show at City Winery, and I had a family friend that was playing, and I was like, oh, I'm Austin DeLone's daughter. And this woman, whom I've never met, was like, Austin DeLone's your dad? And I was like, I can't get away from this. Love you, Dad. But
you're like, I moved to get away from the nepotism.
To be my own person.
And it's still happening.
Yeah.
Thousands of miles from home.
It made me happy, though.
This is what celebrity feels like.
Yeah, my dad is like the king of my hometown.
The king of San Francisco?
Not necessarily San Francisco, but the little suburb where I grew up in.
What was the suburb called?
Mill Valley.
Whoa, that sounds like a made-up place.
We have a theme song.
You have a theme song?
Yeah.
Did Austin DeLone write it?
No.
Well, I mean, if your dad had written the theme song of your town, that would have been pretty sweet. And that would give him rightful reign as the king.
This is very true.
Do you remember the theme song?
I do.
Will you
It was like,
give us a snippet?
Mill Valley, talking about Mill Valley, California. That's my home. And they had this music video of all these 4th and 5th graders from the 60s.
Wow, that's so cute.
It was adorable. Very hippie town.
What do you think the theme song of Nashville is? Is it Chicken Fried?
Oh, no, God, no. Probably the horns that just went off. And
Classic. Yeah, we got a rainy day outside today, and for some reason there's been a whole mess of just stuff going on out there. I don't know what's going on outside of my home
rain.
today,
it's so
but
cozy.
We've been getting some bad weather here.
Or good weather, because you can write good songs with it.
That is the perfect moment. Oh my goodness, Caroline, I'm so happy you're here. We've been friends pretty much since when we first met, right?
Exactly. When I bribed you with Taco Bell hot sauce.
You brought me hot sauce.
I literally brought, because you mentioned once, you're like, fire hot sauce is the best. And they once gave me a bag of it.
Well, that was true.
And then I brought you a bag of fire hot sauce that I'd accumulated.
So the story behind that was I went to a Taco Bell after one of our shows, or the East Nashville Taco Bell after one of our shows at Alley Taps years ago. It was probably in 2020 or 2021. And I ordered my food, and then I said I would like fire sauce, but I don't think you understand how much fire sauce I want. I want you to think about how much fire sauce you'd give me, and if your boss would be disappointed in how much fire sauce you gave me, that's how much I want. So they gave me a bag with my food, and they gave me a bag with fire sauce, and they gave me 178 fire sauce packets. And I was, yes, your boss would be disappointed that you just gave me 178 fire sauce packets. I made chili. fire sauce chili.
That's amazing.
It was so good. Tasted like Taco Bell.
Taco Bell chili.
Well, what were some of those like memories early on from Tour Stop when you started going that made you feel like it was different than one of the other mini riders around here in town?
Well, I mean, I was in a pretty dark place when I first moved here, as I feel like a lot of people were in 2020.
Right.
And, you know, I kind of needed support and I needed friends, and everyone there was so welcoming, and Sundays just became like my favorite day of the week. And I would go every week and met some of my best friends there. And then I started going to Belcourt like basically every day.
Every day.
But, you know, Sundays were like...
We were those lifers.
Yeah.
We were there all of the time.
Seriously. Thanksgiving, Christmas.
I definitely did my Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
I did 4th of July shows there.
Yeah.
I did a show there on Super Bowl Sunday once, I remember.
And it was probably like packed to the
It was
brim.
still packed from all of the people who didn't give a shit about the Super Bowl. And here we are now, the day after the Super Bowl. The Chiefs won. Yes. And I know you're a Niners fan. Sorry.
I'm not. I'm a baseball
You're from San
fan.
Francisco and you're not a Niners fan?
I don't care about football. If you were to ask me any question about it, I would not be able to answer.
I saw a meme last night that made me laugh, and it said, did you see that Taylor's boyfriend is playing football during the Usher concert tonight?
I saw that. That was pretty funny.
That made me laugh.
I was disappointed that he didn't bring her out.
Well,
Just
it's not
kidding.
about her. And
I know, it was her boyfriend's time.
She could probably sell more tickets than the Super Bowl. Actually, she has literally done that.
At that exact stadium.
She's done it like days and days and days in a row.
Yep.
Maybe 2024 should have been the year of Taylor Swift.
It 100% is.
Even though I've been saying the year of our Lord Lainey Wilson.
Both of them. They can share. They're different genres.
Yeah, definitely.
I only know one Lainey Wilson song, but I do respect
Watermelon
her.
Moonshine?
No.
It's a good one.
The Heart Like a Truck. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, that's Lainey Wilson.
Yeah.
See, you do know some.
That one.
You don't give yourself enough credit.
No, I did see her last year on Valentine's Day
Where was that?
at the Opry.
I have never seen a show at the Opry. I did a tour of the
Yeah.
backstage and everything. And the only reason I went on a tour of the Opry was because my parents were visiting. And my dad said he wanted to go on a tour of the Opry. And I was like, sure, we can get tickets. So we got tickets, and I was driving us out on Interstate 40 to go to the Grand Ole Opry. And my dad, about halfway into the drive, we're on the interstate, goes, where are we going? I was like, we're going to the Grand Ole Opry. He goes, I thought it was downtown.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
You wanted to go to the Ryman. He goes, oh, that's the one I wanted to go to.
Whoops.
So instead we went to the Opry.
I mean, granted, it used to be the
did.
Opry.
Yeah.
So maybe he just...
Yeah, well, since the 70s. But we went to the Opry. And have you been on a tour of the Grand Ole Opry?
Nope.
So it starts with a little, like you're in a little theater, and it's got a projector screen, and Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks are projections, and they're introducing you to everything. And we're sitting there watching, and my dad nudged me and goes, who are they?
Oh my gosh. Literally me.
He had no idea. And I was like, that's Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood. He goes, I know Garth Brooks, but who's the other one?
Oh my gosh.
So the whole time we're doing this tour of the Opry, and my dad is like, is that Carrie Underwood? I'm like, no, that's Reba McEntire.
See, okay, I am not a country fan, but even I could tell those two apart.
Yeah, so it was really funny when, like, going on that tour, realizing, like, that's the house I grew up in, is people who didn't know anything about country music, and how little I still do know or don't know about this town.
Yeah, I'm like one of the... Well, no, there's a bunch of artists that aren't country, but I'm not country at all.
You're not country at all. I mean, I know a few of the artists your dad has played with, and they aren't country at all.
No,
and
I don't think
that's just not the world we grew up in.
Yeah, I didn't listen to a lot of country growing up.
What did you listen to growing up?
A lot of, like, old soul, like Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, Etta James.
That's cool.
Bonnie Raitt, who I adore. The Beatles. My dad's obsessed with the Beatles.
Your dad did not play for the Beatles.
No, he did not. My mother did grow up around the corner from Abbey Road, though.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot you call her mum unironically because she's British.
Yeah.
When I first saw you referring to her as your mum years ago, I was like, That's a little extra, I think.
Mom is a
Mom.
weird one. Mom.
Mom. But she's your mom.
She's my mom.
Does she still live in England?
No.
She's
lives
in
the Bay
California?
Area. Yeah.
I don't know anything about your mom, but I don't really.
Besides the fact that she's
I don't need to
British.
know about your mom right now. I'm here to learn more about you.
Exactly. Just kidding.
So, did you take lessons growing up,
Singing lessons?
or any kind of lessons?
No, I did not. I actually refused to play music at first because
See how that worked out.
Well, because my dad was a musician and nobody wants to do what their parents do.
That's
and I would
definitely
go
true.
to concerts and I enjoyed it and I'd be totally oblivious to who I was seeing and I'd be asleep in the green room a lot of the time. And then my mom was like, Caroline, you should join choir. This is 3rd, 4th grade. And I was like, why? She's like, just do it, Caroline. You'll love it. And then I was like, oh, wait, I'm really good at this. Started being that asshole kid that kept getting all the solos. And I was like, oh, wow.
You're like, I do love this. Everyone's looking at me. I love this.
No,
Hard direct
nice.
eye contact from the audience, the person in the first row. You're like, I'm singing this to you.
Oh, I love looking people in the eye when I sing and making them uncomfortable.
I do the same thing,
It
except
makes
it's
me
when I
so
play my
happy.
funny songs and say the inappropriate things, and I lock eyes with somebody and say, putting twice as much of your meat into my mouth. That's from my Chipotle song, which is where the
That's right.
East
I love
Nashville
that
line comes
song.
from. Love that East Nashville Taco Bell. No, I don't.
Your contact in my phone has a burrito next to it because of
Does
that
it
song.
still have that?
Yeah.
I don't think I have a special contact photo for you.
It's not a photo. It's the emoji.
Oh,
The
next to my
burrito
name.
emoji.
Oh, well, even better yet.
Alex has chocolate
Why does Alex have chocolate?
because that's how I bribed him to be my friend.
Didn't
Bribing,
you bring
that's
him a
the-
gigantic Reese's cup?
I did.
I totally remember that.
Last
That was
call.
at last call.
Which was his birthday.
It was.
Pounds of chocolate and peanut
Yep.
butter to it.
I would leave those caramel apple lollipops. You know them well.
I do love the caramel apple lollipops. I fell asleep with one of those in my mouth and it turned my tongue blue.
I know, that's so weird.
I don't know how green and brown and pink work. I don't know color theory, but that doesn't add up to blue, but it
No.
definitely did.
That's so bizarre. But no, I'd leave those on the soundboard and they wouldn't be touched the next day. And I'd be like, So I'd start leaving gummies and stuff. And then I was like, maybe he likes chocolate. And so I started bringing chocolate and I'd see you eating it. And I was like,
She's leaving a trail of tomatoes.
be my friend, nerd.
Oh yeah, that's back when I was reading.
All the time. But
So you were in choir as a kid. When did you start writing songs?
I've always kind of written poetry. I was really in English growing up. Before I turned to music, I turned to books. Mm-hmm. I was reading Great Expectations in the 2nd grade.
Jeez.
And, of course, Harry Potter. But
I was reading the Berenstain Bears in 2nd grade.
I was reading those, too. But I just was also reading...
I couldn't read anything harder
Novels.
than that. I was a bad reader. I'm still a bad reader.
I loved reading. It was
You're
my
a
safe
big
thing.
reader.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
Carry
how
my
much
Kindle everywhere.
you preach the Harry Potter books.
Oh, those
They are your Bible.
classics, okay? They are my Bible. Literally my Bible. Don't get me
You're
started.
a hardcore Harry Potter fangirl. Mm-hmm. Tell me how that started. You're like, how long do you have?
Well, no, my aunt sent the books to me
Mm-hmm.
back in kindergarten, 1st grade when they came out in England, and they weren't out here yet. And I was like, I love these.
You were part of the Harry Potter craze.
I was the craze. I began the craze. I'm just kidding.
You were the original Harry Potter fan in the U.S. Mm-hmm. You were the first one.
I went to the very first, I went to all the book premieres.
Okay.
At Borders and, then Barnes Noble. I have these glasses that they gave us.
That's
that were
cool.
these little glow-in-the-dark Harry Potter glasses. It's such a good time. And I would get the books and, my teachers would know when the premieres were because, who didn't? And they'd be like, we don't bother Caroline when the Harry Potter books came out. I would literally be in class reading the books. I don't care. I would read them overnight and, a little into the day.
I've never been that passionate about anything in my entire life, except for Guitar Hero, which It's very different.
Very different.
Do you think that your love of reading, especially things like Harry Potter, influenced how you write songs?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I always looked at not just Harry Potter, but reading like at such a young age, it kind of became such an escape for me that I kind of started wearing my books on my sleeve. And then I was like,
I've
oh,
never heard that
like,
term, wearing my books on my sleeve.
Because it's like the Harry Potter books came out when I was so young that like, you know, I wouldn't say that like they made me who I am, but they shaped who I was. And so it's like, you know, I still love a lot of the other books, not just Harry Potter books that I was reading as a kid.
Great Expectations.
Yes, that's one of my favorites. Great Expectations, Great Gatsby. Like, I love all the classics. And, like, I feel like they're just pieces of me. And then when I started writing poetry, when I was, like, maybe in 3rd or 4th grade, I was like, oh, well, all these books are pieces of me. Like, how about my music starts to be pieces of me? But I didn't really look at them as songs. It was just like...
Did you ever ask your dad for help as a kid?
No, I have.
Or was this like, you go do your thing, I'm going to go hide?
Oh, well, I have a complex of asking for help, period.
Oh.
It's a problem. And my dad will like sometimes be like, how about this? And like in my adult life, I've gotten better at it, working on that in therapy. But no, I refuse to ask for help. And I mean, my younger brother is very disabled. And so I just kind of like took my little vices, and those were the only things that were like keeping me going during those times, because I didn't really know what was going on and had to grow up and mature at a really young age.
What do you remember about the transition from being just a poetry writer into actual songwriting now? Was there ever like a moment where it clicked where like, oh, I can turn this into more?
Well, there was a summer that my dad was on tour in Italy, and I was like, I think I was like 12 or 13, and I was like, you know, I like write all these poetry, you know, books, and I'm like, I need to play an instrument. So it was like right around the time, this is so cheesy, but when the Hannah Montana movie came out, so maybe I was like 14. And
you're like, buckle up.
Okay, but there was a song that Miley sang with her dad.
The best
Butterfly
of both.
Fly Away.
Oh. Here I am knowing more than one Hannah Montana song.
There we go. No, it was Butterfly Fly Away. And it was this like father-daughter song. And it was like, I loved it because I love my dad. He's my best friend. And so I was like, I'm going to learn this on his guitar. And when he comes back from Italy, I'm going to play it for him.
Aww.
And then I started playing. I looked it up on YouTube. I was like, how to play Butterfly Fly Away. And I learned it on guitar. And he came back. And he had this like thick neck Gibson that was so difficult to play. But I figured it out. And then I started kind of messing around, not knowing any chords, just kind of what I found on YouTube, putting melodies to my poems.
It's cool.
And then I was like, oh, this is fun. And like I would do shows with my dad's band where I'd sing covers and stuff, and a lot of Norah Jones, a lot of Bonnie Raitt. And I was like, what if I started doing some like Caroline songs, you know?
What was the first song you finished writing called?
Heartbeat, I think.
I feel that's a question I ask often, is about people's first song.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many of us have such dramatic first songs.
Oh, it was very dramatic.
That's that like teen angst finally having 100%. A place to go.
Like I said, I was writing poetry for such a long time, but this is the first one that like I kind of heard how the song would go in my head. And I remember playing it live for the first time, and it was like, listen to my heartbeat. And then I'd have the drummer go, doo, doo, doo. You know, it was so cool. I was like, I'm a rock star. It was very fun.
I wrote a song with Tyler Bank not too long ago. I guess it would have been 3 or 4 years ago at this point, called Hearing a Heartbeat. And it's about the stages of a relationship. And it begins with a guy hearing his own heartbeat when he's going to ask a girl for her phone number, and then the second verse is like them on their first date, and he can like hear his heartbeat because he's nervous.
Aww.
And then the bridge is their child being born, and he can hear the heartbeat. And then it ends with his wife dying. It's a whole thing. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
Yeah, but it's like hearing a heartbeat, and it's one of those things. But every time I play the song, it's like it's got that percussive
You know,
thing.
Taylor
in it.
Swift literally recorded her own heartbeat and put it on one of her songs.
Who?
Taylor Allison Swift.
Oh, full name. You guys are like on a full name basis.
Oh yeah, you know me
You
and
and
Tay
T-Money.
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 T-Money is Tori Grace. I don't know what you're talking about.
T-Money is Tori Grace?
Yeah.
I call her Tori Grapes because that's what my phone autocorrects her name to every time.
T-Money.
Tori Grapes. Dr. Amato. Domor.
And P-Money is Paige Rose.
I am a big nickname guy, but I think you're one of the only people I don't have a nickname for. Because I used to call you Deloney and you didn't like that.
It just doesn't make sense.
Well, neither does calling Al. Well, actually, I call you Al. That totally makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
You're the only one that calls me Al. I've never been called Al before.
Well, you can call me Al. You and
You're
Paul
blah, blah,
Simon.
blah, 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 blah.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
When people are like, what's his last name? I go,
Blah,
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 blah, blah, blah.
I had to call Vanderbilt the other day for my hearing aid, and they asked me to spell my last name, and I spelled it 6 times before the lady on the phone got it right. And I was like, you work in an audiology clinic, your hearing needs to be
And
better.
I'm the one with the hearing problems.
It's like, you can't hear me. I'm speaking so clearly. SCHILB as in boy, and they're like, shield? And I'm like, where did your E come from? It's like you're adding letters to this now.
Oh my gosh.
God. So that's just been a pain in my
Can you
butt.
hear me now?
Was that a Verizon commercial?
I think so.
Can you hear me now? Sprint.
Something like that.
The days of cable television.
Good
Did
times.
you see that Amazon started putting ads on all of their
No,
stuff?
I don't really watch Amazon Prime too much.
So I have Amazon Prime, and I've had it for a long time, but I got an email saying that the Prime subscription doesn't include the ad-free version anymore, and people were like all up in arms about it. And I forget where it was or what movie it's from. It's something, but all of these streaming platforms have become the thing that they set out to destroy. It's cable, and now it's just cable. It's like
I know, I
Hulu
have so
is just a
many.
new channel with commercials.
Yeah, I have so many streaming platforms and I don't understand why.
I currently only have Disney and HBO.
Those are the only ones that matter.
Yeah,
Netflix.
I had Hulu for a while and I had Peacock for a while, but I wasn't watching either of them, and I was like, this is $30 a month. I'm literally just wasting. So now, instead of spending $30 a month to not do anything, I buy Chinese food once a month. Actually, I buy Chinese food. I buy Chinese food way more than once a month, but that's just lessening the deficit.
It's girl math. You're saving money so you can spend
So that I
it
can
on
spend
something
money.
else.
That is girl math.
Yeah.
Did I just girl math for the
You
first
just
time?
girl math.
I just girl math for the first time. You
Wow.
guys, what a special moment to capture. Well, that leaves us at a good spot. We're going to take a quick commercial message, and we'll come right back with Caroline DeLone on the Nashville Tour Stop podcast. And we're back with the Nashville Tour Stop podcast featuring Caroline DeLone, episode number 110, Miss Sunshine herself.
It's true. I am sunshine.
Welcome back to the condo. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming on today.
Of course.
So I don't want to waste time. I want to get right to the point. What's
go.
your deepest fear? I'm kidding.
Clowns. No.
You're like, I'm going to need about 6 more hours before I'm even prepared to talk about this. No, let's talk about some of the music that you've released. I know that you put out an album quite a while ago, but since you've lived in Nashville, you've released a couple of singles.
Yeah, I didn't release for a while. I kind of lost my passion for music for a little bit, even though I was still singing. It was hard to sing some of the songs. And then coming here, I was like, I need to get the ball rolling again. Let's just start releasing. So I asked Coley Kohler to produce.
Shout out. KK.
One of the biggest regrets I have in my life is that Coley and I grew up 35 minutes away from each other.
And you weren't friends.
And we didn't know each other. And it makes me really
She's
sad.
one of the nicest humans on Earth.
On this planet Earth. And Dylan and I, her husband, for those of you who don't know, grew up like 15 minutes away from each other.
And you never knew each other. Did you go to high school or anything together?
No, but we have mutual friends. Like when we found out, we're like, do you know this person? Do you know this person?
That's so cool.
And I'm like, it makes me sad that we didn't know each other before.
But you have the rest of your lives now.
Exactly. The rest is history.
So the first song you released that Coley produced was called
Nashville
Snowy Night. That's a classic Caroline DeLone song.
It is, and I wrote it with a good Nashville Tour Stop friend.
Winter Wilson.
Yeah.
Winter Wilson. So Coley recorded that. Did you produce it at her house?
We did, yeah. We recorded it in her little studio closet. Yeah, which was very cool.
The one that they built into their basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not basement. It was there. It was like on the second floor.
Oh, so you recorded it at their condo.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. They had a DIY studio in their old house before that. So
really?
You upgraded.
Oh, wow. I feel special. No, it was really cool. Kai probably made an appearance here and there, just making noise in the background, being crazy. But yeah, we recorded it there. Coley added some incredible,
What's the story behind the song?
Background. So Winter was visiting Nashville. She hadn't moved here yet. And
Wait, how did you get connected with Winter? Sorry, tangent.
Yeah, Belcourt. Probably a tour stop, maybe another round. I'm not really sure. And me being the sunshine that I am, I was like, oh, do you need somewhere you need to stay for a couple days? I have a guest room in my house. And so she stayed with me for a handful of days, maybe a week, while she was looking for places and doing some music. And then we got snowed in.
Classic.
I have a little...
That sounds an awful lot like what we've gone through here lately.
I know. I got so much content. I was so happy. But we got snowed in and we were just talking, watching movies. And then we're like, wait a second. We're both songwriters. Why don't we write a song?
That's cool.
And so then we just kind of came up with this cute little concept. And we were outside doing a photo shoot. And we made hot cocoa. So everything in the song we talk about is adventures that we were doing that day. And we're
That's nice.
it'll be cute to be and it was supposed to be a tour stop that day.
Was that one of the ones that got canceled?
At Cabana, it got
Snowed
canceled.
out?
And so in the song I say it's not safe. It's not safe to drive in these conditions. Show's canceled. Got time that I didn't. And it was a tour stop.
You wrote about tour stop.
I did.
That makes me feel good for a number of reasons, but it's fun having done this for so long now because I've actually come to realize how many people have written songs about this little community that we're a part of. And when I was a kid, I wanted that close friend thing. I watched TV shows and I was like, how do I have 5 close friends like Ross, Rachel, Monica, Joey, Chandler, and Phoebe? I wanted that. I was like, how do you do that? And I could never find it. I had a couple of close friends in high school, but I never really fit in anywhere. And when I moved here, Tour Stop was the first time I was like, this is the thing that I want to do. Not because it pays my bills, but because my friends are here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's persisted even into now is why I like doing it is because it's where my friends are. And people always ask, well, how do I play Tour Stop? I was like, be friends with these people.
Yeah,
just come
show
hang
up.
out.
Watch.
You don't have to spend money. Just come be there.
That's one of my favorite things about Tour Stop is the people that come support and the fact that you're so supportive and you genuinely love supporting your friends.
I really do.
And it's just
it's not a facade to beef up my business.
Yeah.
I've actually taken shots at bringing the business down, defending my friends sometimes.
Yeah, and you're just so proud of it, and like that just makes the whole thing so wholesome. It's like that's why people come back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sure, the musicians are talented, but like you're a good person, and you bring good to these rounds.
What's the number one rule?
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. You get that on a shirt now.
Seriously.
But
I'd wear it.
it's fun knowing that people are influenced by this community, and you having written a song about it. It was, even if not like super intentionally, it was part of what you were like, your life at that point. It's
Yeah.
like you wanted to write about your life, and missing a show that was a tour stop show was part of it.
Yeah.
We did it.
We did it.
Yeehaw!
Did it, Mom and Dad?
So Nashville Snowy Night came out in 2022, right?
3.
Which was
In January 13th, 2023.
2023, the year of our Lord, whoever it was last year. I don't
know.
I don't even remember. Katie
Lord-
Fee, if you're listening, who was the person who was the year of our Lord last
Katie
year?
will definitely know. Katie Christian.
Ballerini.
Who?
Kelsey Ballerini.
Kelsey Ballerini,
Was it?
that's right. It is
Once
2023,
again,
the year of our Lord,
country
Kelsey
is,
Ballerini.
Not my forte.
But hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
So you released this in January, and
I
then you
did.
released another song called Thoughts of You, right?
I did.
Who did you co-write this with?
So actually, you know, usually I do like releasing songs that I wrote, but my dad actually wrote that song.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's cool.
And not to be this person, but so we actually recorded it in my living room, my childhood living room, to send to Bonnie Raitt to put on her most recent record.
Wow.
And she emailed back being like, "That's a beautiful song, Austin, but I can't sing that. Caroline needs to sing that."
Aw.
And I'm like, "Oh my God, Bonnie."
So if you guys are listening right now and you just caught the very subtle name drop,
This is not a usual occurrence. I don't like name dropping.
but you have been, I don't want to say blessed. I mean, you were born into a rather successful musician's family, and lots of the people you grew up with, you didn't know were famous. They were just your dad's friends.
Right. As I mentioned before, the concerts I'd like be asleep in the green room. It would be like Elvis Costello on his 10th encore. And I'd be like, "Elvis, you know,
God, when are you going to be done singing? I want to go home.
I want to go read Harry Potter. Thank you." My parents actually went to his wedding with Diana Krall, and it was in England
That's very cool.
at
Is he
Elton
British?
John's house. Yeah, he's
I
British.
had no idea.
You had no idea he was British?
No.
I guess-
After
yeah.
all this time. I mean, you did get him to send me a get well soon video after I had
did.
my surgery. That was pretty dope.
I'll never forget that.
Talk
You were
about
just like-
good gifts you've given. That's a top contender.
I tried to get you to meet him the other day.
Cheese, get well soon video from Elvis Costello.
Like I said, I individualized each person. But yeah, I mean, I've been lucky to have grown up with that. And as I got older and actually really started appreciating music and realizing, not to toot my own horn, but toot toot, that I'm good, you know, that I like have a good voice. They started being like, "Oh, well, Caroline, do you want to open for me?" Or, "Caroline, do you want to sing this song with me?"
That's cool.
And it was very cool. And my parents,
Continue what you're going to say. I have to talk about something you just said, though.
oh, please go.
You sang on a Jimmy Buffett tune.
Well, yes, it was a
Technically,
cover.
you sang on a Jimmy Buffett song that Sammy Hagar sang.
And Toby Keith, rest in peace.
R.I.P. They were good buds.
Once again, not a country person at all. I didn't meet him. He did it probably from here. But I did get to sing background vocals on Sammy's Margaritaville.
That's so cool.
It was very cool.
First name basis Sammy,
Yeah.
the Red Rocker himself. I made you show me his phone number in your phone because I didn't believe that you actually knew Sammy Hagar, who's a musical hero of mine. But
And you probably...
dog.
Yeah, you didn't memorize it, did you?
I do not have an eidetic memory. No, I do not remember it. I know there's a 4 in there somewhere, which only narrows it down to every number.
Every single number. But no, yeah, it was a cool experience. I got to sing with him a couple times at like my local venue back home, the Sweetwater Music Hall.
That's cool.
Shout out. But my parents, because they did this benefit concert every year to raise money to build a group home for my brother's syndrome. And the first year, it was Elvis Costello and Clover.
Wow.
Yeah, we brought them back.
That's cool.
And then, you know, there's one year where it was like Elvis Costello sings Nick Lowe songs and Nick Lowe sings Elvis Costello songs. And then they come together and sing Peace, Love, and Understanding, which...
That's his big one.
Well, Nick
One of his
actually
big
wrote
ones.
that song. So it's ironic that they got to play it together. But they were doing all of that. And then the, like, you know, the posters are getting bigger. And they were like, well, Caroline, you get to sing a song or two or whatever. And so Elvis asked me to sing with him. And Boz Scaggs asked me to sing with him. And I opened for Bonnie Raitt, and I opened for all these amazing musicians that I grew up listening to and grew up being completely inspired by, even if I didn't know it back in the day. And so it was really cool. And like, you know, it's not one of those things where it's like you hear parents be like, my kid is so talented. And then you look and you're like, this is a stick figure. You know, it's not like that. It's like, oh, you know, okay, she can hold a tune. And then I think that's also kind of when I realized that, like, oh, this is like what I want to do.
Right.
Like these people that are just people kiss their feet are asking me to sing with them. Like, that's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
And it's not because, like, my dad is my dad. Like, he would be on some of the projects, sure. But it's because they thought I was good.
That's cool.
And so it's like, I've always said, if somebody said, you get to choose singing or playing guitar, I'd smash my guitar in front of them. Because I've always said my voice is like my superpower.
That's cool.
If I have a cold and I lose my voice, I'm very dramatic.
Because then you lost your superpower.
Yeah. And I'm like, if I ever lose my voice, like, my life is over.
RSV has got to be your kryptonite.
Oh my God. Yeah, stay away.
So what are you working on these days? What's coming up for the Caroline DeLone fans listening, KDP?
Only KDP and KDP only.
And all of our other friends who absolutely love you.
Oh, shucks.
What's coming down the pipe for Caroline DeLone?
Well, speaking of community, as we were talking about before, a song that I definitely want to release this year is a song I have called Hey Sunshine.
Dang right.
That I wrote with the sweet baby angel Becca Tremmel and Hallie Payne.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout hecking out.
But that song was a prompt for the Pin Drops Songwriter series. And the prompt was community. And I think that, like, a lot of us kind of share a similar community. And
a similar sentiment towards appreciating that community aspect of it.
Yeah. And I was honored to be asked to play that one, because it's like, then I really was like, oh my God, these are people that I've been looking for my whole life, like you kind of said. Because, like, back home, I have best friends that I've known my whole life that will be in my life for the rest of my life. But at the same time, it's like I was such a social butterfly growing up. I kind of just like floated to every group. I always had friends. I've always been kind to everybody. My mom always taught me to treat people how you want to be treated. So that's what I've always done. But at the same time, it's like, you know, being in choir and being the one that got solos and then becoming like the princess of Mill Valley that sings and always having shows and always performing and opening. I didn't have many other people that could relate to that or could relate to the lifestyle I grew up with. But then when I came here, I was like, oh my gosh, every single person is like me in the sense of this.
We're all the most talented people from our hometown.
That, sure, but more so like this one thing, being music or writing or just coming together because of music, saved all of us, right? And so then it's like we all didn't really have like-minded people where we came from. But when we come together, it's like the reason I come to shows and support isn't because somebody's good. It's because I'm like, this makes me so happy.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody back home really understood that.
That's one of the things that's really stuck with me is like being able to enable my friends to play shows isn't for me. And I'm not trying to sound like, oh, I'm altruistic, but it really is because I really want to see my friends live their dreams. And like I've booked my friends for some of those big sold out shows before, and seeing like Alex, our producer, played one of our sold out shows at the Listening Room.
Oh my God, I was crying like a baby.
Same. Like I get to see my friends living the freaking dream, because how many people just get to play to 300 people?
Yeah.
Not many. And then when you get to see your friends, they have that sense of pride and you can see it in their eyes. That's why I do it, is because I get to feel happy that my friends accomplished something and I was able to help them accomplish a goal.
Yeah.
Altruism.
Oh.
Aw.
And it's, exactly. And that's what Hey Sunshine is about. It's like, it really doesn't matter. Like, I've done shows at festivals throughout my life, and sometimes it doesn't measure up as to like playing a sold out festival in Paretta, Italy, name dropping again, but opening up for like Chaka Khan and, Mavis Staples being there, and like it doesn't feel the same as being in Belcourt Taps and having everybody there sing your songs back to you, and like knowing
people who care so much about you.
Yeah.
That's something special.
I love that. And like how excited we get when like, oh, you're finally releasing that song.
Yeah.
Or Aaron, can you sing the Chipotle song? You know what I mean? Like I love that. Like that makes me so happy.
So when are you hoping to have Hey Sunshine put out? Sometime later this year?
Yeah, I mean, since it's a song called Hey Sunshine,
Needs to be a summertime. You can't release it in the dreariness of winter.
I know. I feel like it has to be a summertime song.
Yeah.
And I want it to be like super like acoustic, organic, like Colby Calais back in the day before she went country. And I want to be able to include as many people as possible to be a part of that song that are in the community. I think that'll be really special.
That's cool.
So,
well, do you have anything you'd like to leave the listeners with this week? Plugs, things that you love about Nashville? Maybe not even Tour Stop, but what would you recommend people who are here do that you love to do?
Oh my goodness. Well, mine is going to support all my friends, which I feel like everybody should support everybody all the time, as we've accomplished.
I love that.
Talking about. I grew up in Northern California. Like, I love hiking. If anybody can go check out, like, going to Radnor Lake and, like, just going to see nature, because, like, even though we're in a landlocked state, there still is some beautiful things you can do.
I love the signs at Radnor Lake that say no music, no running.
And everyone is playing music.
And yeah, they're like, who puts up signs outside and says no shouting, no run? That's where we're supposed to use our outside
in Nashville,
voices.
too. No music.
Radnor Lake is a good one, though.
Yeah, I love Radnor Lake. I don't know. I just love being outdoors and just being with people that lift your spirits and things that lift your spirits. I'm all about positivity. So, as I said, treat people as you want to be treated, and bring them sunshine when they are having a cloudy day.
You've brought me sunshine on cloudy days. That's for dang sure.
Oh, shucks.
Aw, shucks.
So have you, and so have you.
Shout out to Alex Amato, our producer.
My temporary, not temporary, that's not the right word. My little brother from another mother.
You what?
He's the same age as my younger brother, so I'm like, he's like my little brother.
Alex is your little brother.
Yeah.
Alex is...
He's like my comfort person.
It's like, Alex doesn't feel like my little brother.
Sometimes I'll just sit in the corner with Alex, and I've had a really shitty day, and I'm like...
Look at us.
I just feel happy.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Well, Caroline, give us your plugs. Tell folks where they can find you online.
CarolineDelone, DELONE on
Two
all
words.
the things. Kind of. When it's on social media, it's one. But it is lowercase de, space capital L.
I remember how excited you were when I finally put the lowercase de on my posters.
Yeah, and I don't drink, so you're like, oh, if I ever spell your name wrong, I owe you a drink. And I'm like,
Well, yeah, the rule at our shows is if I misspell somebody's name on a poster, I have to buy you a beer.
and I've never been drunk.
Well, that's good. Keep it that way. Yeah, I think most of our people listening to this wouldn't be like, you should get drunk sometime. It's awesome. I don't think anybody's out there saying that.
What do you have to leave this with? Get drunk.
Well,
Just
follow
kidding.
Caroline DeLone on your social media platforms. Follow her on Spotify and Apple Music. Stream the songs online. Keep up with the music coming out. Keep an eye peeled.
All the
or
seasons
an eye
of
peeled,
Caroline.
an ear peeled.
That's
What's
going to
the
be
word?
an EP. It's going to be like winter, Nashville Snowy Night. Hey Sunshine. I have to get a spring one and a fall one, so it can be like the seasons of Caroline.
Follow Caroline online. Ooh, Caroline online. Wow, that should... We'll have to talk more about that offline. But do give her a follow. In the meantime, follow us at Nashville Tour Stop on your social media platforms, everywhere that the internet is. You can also find our full live event calendar at NashvilleTourStop.com on the web. You can come see Caroline quite often. I didn't look it up, but you've played so many shows.
I have.
You've played like dozens of shows. You're in the top 5 people who've played the most number of tour stops. I have obviously played the most, but then I think Paige Rose is number 2.
Yeah.
You're probably up there. Alex, you're probably up there pretty high too. But in the meantime, do remember that all roads lead right back here to the Nashville Tour Stop. Yeehaw, motherfucker.